When someone close to you quietly holds resentment, their words may still sound kind, affectionate, or supportive, but their actions often reveal a much darker reality. You'll hear them say all the right things, perhaps whisper sweet reassurances that make you feel valued. But the gap between what they say and how they behave creates an emotional friction that's hard to ignore. This tension is often one of the earliest clues that something is wrong beneath the surface. At first, you may feel confused, even start doubting yourself. You might think, did I misunderstand? Didn't they just tell me how much they care? Why then does it feel like there's an invisible wall between us? The reason is simple. Words are easy to offer, but actions reveal where someone's heart truly stands. Words can create the illusion of closeness, but only actions expose the truth. And when those actions are laced with bitterness, they leave behind small, unmistakable traces that all is not well. This can be incredibly disorienting, especially when the person keeps telling you what you want to hear. I'm here for you, or you mean everything to me. But when you actually turn to them in a moment of need, their behavior falls flat. Suddenly, they're too busy, emotionally absent, or dismissive. Maybe you share an important moment, a win, an accomplishment, a personal struggle, and their response feels cold, detached, or uninterested. It's as though they have no real intention of connecting with you, despite their words of affection. Over time, these little cracks add up, leaving you with a quiet sense that something is missing. You leave interactions feeling empty, like their affection never fully reaches you. You start to wonder if you're being manipulated, or if their kindness is just a mask they wear to keep up appearances. They may smile, they may nod, but it's like you're looking at someone through fogged glass. Never fully present, never fully engaged. Here's where the real harm lies, the moment you begin to question whether you can trust what you hear. Because when words of love aren't backed by genuine behavior, you start doubting their sincerity. Their actions tell you they don't truly value you, and you're left wondering if their affection is more about convenience than a meaningful connection. That disconnect builds an emotional emptiness that only deepens over time. You might also notice that when others are around, their behavior shifts dramatically. In public, they may act as if you're the center of their world. But behind closed doors, they turn distant, withdrawn, even passive-aggressive. What they present to the world isn't the reality you experience in private. This split between public and private selves creates deep unease, a gut feeling that something is hidden, that something's being quietly withheld. Resentment rarely explodes in obvious ways. It often shows up in small, subtle patterns. They may avoid eye contact when you speak, pull away in body language, or make excuses to end conversations when things get emotionally real. You'll feel the shift, even if you can't always name it. And over time, it becomes impossible to ignore, because deep down, you sense that their actions no longer match their words. It's easy to rationalize. Maybe they're just stressed, busy, or distracted. But when this becomes a pattern, you have to ask yourself, is this really an accident, or is it revealing a deeper truth? Ignoring this contradiction only keeps you blind to what's really happening. The only way out is to start paying attention, not to what they say, but to what they consistently do. Watch how they act when the mask slips, when the conversation turns raw, or when you need them most. Actions will always speak louder than promises. If you begin to sense that their words are simply covering something darker, it's time to confront the reality of the relationship. People who truly care don't just speak beautifully. They show up, they follow through, and they make the effort, not only when it's convenient, but when it truly matters. It's not about grand gestures, it's about consistency, trust, and alignment between words and behavior. If their actions and words don't line up, trust what their actions are telling you. One of the clearest warning signs is when they subtly chip away at your confidence. You may find that no matter how well-meaning you are, they're always finding a way to downplay your successes or poke holes in your ideas. It's rarely a direct attack. Instead, it's wrapped in concern, masked as a compliment, or disguised as helpful advice. But underneath, it's about diminishing you. It's not the big betrayals that shatter trust. It's the small, repeated cuts that erode your sense of worth. What may seem like casual criticism at first, pointing out a flaw, dismissing an idea, over time becomes a pattern meant to make you feel small. They may never outright say, "You're not good enough," but their behavior sends that exact message. Backhanded compliments are a favorite weapon. "Wow, you got that promotion. You're so lucky. I have no idea how you made it look easy." It sounds supportive, but it quietly erases your hard work. Passive-aggressive remarks like this are particularly dangerous because they allow the other person to appear innocent while still planting seeds of doubt in your mind. Sometimes it's not just the digs, it's the silence. You pour yourself into something, a project, a goal, a personal breakthrough, and instead of support or acknowledgement, you get cold indifference. Your victories go uncelebrated, your efforts unnoticed. This silence sends a clear message: you're invisible, and your growth doesn't matter. They may also constantly compare you to others, making you feel like you're never quite enough. "So-and-so did this better," or "I thought you'd be further along by now." These comments don't just sting, they erode your confidence and sense of self. Even more painful is when they dismiss your emotional needs. You open up, share a vulnerability, and instead of meeting you with care, they brush you off. "It's not that big of a deal," or "You're always overreacting." This isn't just insensitivity, it's a way of making you question the validity of your own feelings. Over time, you're left feeling unseen, unheard, and doubting yourself. What makes this so damaging is that it often comes from someone who claims to love and care for you. They say they support you, but their actions betray another reality. This constant tension can leave you wondering if you're imagining things, if you're just too sensitive. But when you step back and look at the full picture, the dismissals, the criticisms, the lack of support, you'll begin to see the truth. The emotional toll is cumulative. One comment may seem harmless, but over time, these small wounds become a deep, lasting scar. You begin to question your choices, your value, and your instincts. It creates a fog of self-doubt that clouds your sense of reality. You deserve relationships that lift you up, people who celebrate your wins and hold space for your pain. If someone close to you is consistently undermining you, whether through backhanded praise, dismissive remarks, or emotional withdrawal, you need to ask why you're allowing this dynamic to continue. Their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. It's a mirror of their inability to value you. The first step toward reclaiming your power is recognizing these patterns for what they are. Setting boundaries isn't an act of anger. It's an act of self-respect. Because when you know your worth, you no longer tolerate the subtle erosion of your confidence. One of the most painful forms of hidden resentment is a slow withdrawal of empathy. It's not just that they don't understand your pain, they stop trying to. At first, you assume they care, but over time, their warmth turns cold, and what once felt like support becomes hollow and disconnected. You might share something deeply personal, only to be met with indifference or even mockery. They may brush you off with "it's not a big deal" or "you're overreacting." These responses make you feel small, as if your emotions are insignificant. It's not just a lack of understanding, it's an intentional withdrawal of care. When you celebrate a win, you expect joy from them, but instead, you're met with cold, dismissive comments, "It's about time," or "I thought you'd get there sooner." Their inability to celebrate with you reveals a deeper resentment. They're too entangled in jealousy to share your happiness. You may also notice a general lack of compassion in how they treat others, mocking others. Pain, making insensitive jokes, showing little regard for anyone's feelings but their own. And when they need support, they expect you to be fully available, highlighting the one-sided nature of the relationship. Their disregard even extends to your boundaries. If you need space, they accuse you of being distant. If you're struggling, they guilt you for not being available to them. It's a clear sign that your needs and emotions are secondary to their agenda. What makes this so heartbreaking is that on the surface, they may still say all the right things. They may offer just enough warmth to keep you guessing, to make you wonder if you're overreacting. But the truth is, empathy isn't about words, it's about action. Recognizing a lack of empathy is painful but also freeing. It allows you to see the relationship as it truly is, not as you wish it to be. You don't have to stay in a dynamic that drains you. When you begin honoring your own needs and seeking out people who genuinely care, you reclaim your emotional freedom and surround yourself with the kind of love you truly deserve. They've stopped giving freely. The warmth that once seemed endless is now guarded, rationed, or worse, used as a tool for control. This withholding of affection is often paired with subtle emotional withdrawal. When you share something meaningful, they no longer meet you with enthusiasm or care. Instead, you get a distant smile, a half-hearted response. Their disconnection becomes painfully clear. It's as though they are no longer invested in your emotional well-being, and instead of offering comfort when you need it most, they retreat into themselves. At first, it's just a small crack. They're less eager to spend time with you, less excited about your joys. But those small cracks widen. Affection becomes strained, not just physically, but emotionally. A deep coldness seeps in. You try to close the gap, reach out meaningfully, but the more you do, the further away they seem. This behavior is often rooted in their own unresolved resentment or feelings of inadequacy. Instead of confronting their emotions, they turn inward, withdrawing affection as self-protection, or to exert control over you. Love becomes transactional, conditional, no longer the free flow between two people who care. The impact is profound. The trust you once shared starts to erode. You begin questioning everything, your worth in their eyes, your place in their life, and whether you've done something to deserve this. The most painful part? There's no explanation. They don't sit you down to say, "I'm pulling away." No, it's quiet, insidious. Their affection, once freely given, becomes a reward you must constantly earn. You walk on eggshells, trying to prove you still matter. But no matter what you do, it's never enough. This dynamic breeds insecurity. You give more, hoping to win back the love you once had, but it stays just out of reach. Over time, it chips away at your confidence. You start to wonder, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't deserve love. But here's the truth. You are deserving of love, real love, freely given. Their withdrawal is not about you. It's about their own struggles. And you don't have to accept a relationship where affection is a tool of control when they turn others against you. One of the most insidious signs of hidden resentment is when they begin to create or exploit conflicts in your life. Often, it's done covertly, a casual comment here, a subtle dig there. Have you noticed how distant they've been lately, or something just feels off about them? These small remarks plant seeds of doubt, twisting perceptions and slowly isolating you. Over time, you may realize people are pulling away, seeing you through a distorted lens, all while the resentful person plays the innocent, concerned friend. It's manipulation designed to leave you unsupported, to fracture your closest bonds. As conflicts escalate, you may find yourself defending actions you didn't even realize were questioned, struggling to maintain relationships that once felt secure. Confronting this person often backfires. They'll deny, deflect, or play the victim, leaving you even more confused and isolated. The key here is awareness. Recognize the pattern. Without attacking or escalating, begin reclaiming your narrative. Clarify misunderstandings gently but firmly, and where necessary, distance yourself from toxic influences when their resentment turns passive-aggressive. This isn't loud or obvious. It's subtle, quiet, and corrosive. The enthusiastic texts slow down. The warm congratulations fade. Sarcasm slips into conversations disguised as jokes or backhanded compliments. "Wow, you actually pulled that off." Or "Good thing you're not as bad at this as I thought." You question yourself. Am I being too sensitive? Did I do something wrong? But over time, the pattern becomes undeniable. You face the silent treatment, sarcastic remarks, or dismissals, like you're just overreacting, all designed to make you doubt your own reality. This emotional instability creates whiplash. You walk on eggshells, unsure of when the next cold shoulder will come, and slowly it chips away at your self-esteem, leaving you anxious, small, and powerless. But here's the liberating truth. You do have power. Recognizing the passive aggression for what it is, their inability to express resentment in a healthy way, allows you to step back, set boundaries, and protect your emotional well-being. Final reflection. Don't ignore the signs. You deserve relationships built on trust, honesty, and open communication, not control, manipulation, or emotional games. If you recognize these patterns in your life, it's time to take action. Set boundaries. Confront the issues if safe to do so. Step away from toxic dynamics. Remember, you are worthy of love, respect, and connection without having to earn it every day. The power to change begins with awareness. If this message stirred something in you, you're ready to stop settling. Subscribe and walk this journey with us. Thank you.